at this point, now with me not having my children in the home, being a grandmother, and having a young adult son, I can look at their behaviors and see how, even unconsciously, things that I did within the home affected the way that they make decisions with regards to their relationships and even how they view themselves.
Definitely. I definitely agree. You are the framework by which they attack life. You know what I mean? Like, their approach began from your approach. You know what I mean? So definitely, when it comes down to generational curses, that is an issue. Like for me, I do, as a black man, I do have concern when our sisters are so angry towards us. Because for me, we both was dealing with the same enemy. Now, it did affect our relationship as well. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the black man started emulating the white man and didn't understand that he was part of a maternal culture and not a paternal culture. You know what I mean? That the Queen Mother was the loudest voice, that we fought in her honor. You know what I mean?
And that's the loudest voice. As we are the creators, not to cut you off, but like that stuff doesn't get recognized by the average man. They don't even, matter of fact, the average man don't even know about the Divine Mother, because religion has separated where it only teaches you to honor the Trinity as it relates to masculinity, but doesn't do the balance when the Trinity is really the family.
Right.
The mother, the child.
Exactly.
But let me say this though, in response to your angry woman comment, because I feel like a lot of men use that as an excuse. They want to call you angry or disgruntled because you require more and you've dealt with so much that you don't want to take nothing off of them as it relates to, your standard of living. Like, they quick to say, oh, you just angry, or you're an angry black woman because you saying things that I feel, belittle my character or belittle my stance as a woman. And I articulate this. Now I'm the angry black woman because I'm telling you that you saying some shit. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some just angry women, but I think that most people use that as that's a scapegoat. That's an excuse.
I don't, when I said, I don't necessarily mean angry black woman. I think that the black woman is angry towards the man. I mean, when I say that, it has been, I ain't gonna say it's not been a justified anger, but I think as a whole, just put it blunt, people ain't this shit. You know what I mean? Just as many gripes as the woman has for the man has for the woman. When you say toxic masculinity, then you invent toxic femininity.
That's true. It does exist. That is true.
I think for me as a man, I just think right now the toxic masculinity is a heavy topic. Like they like speaking on it, and like for me, I've dealt with the other, and I really want us to come to balance to where we did come back to where we supposed to be. Like, your best friend supposed to be your woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's your confidant. You know what I mean? And I only look at it from a male perspective because I am a male, but the DNA strand rotate. It's perspective spinning.
Yeah.
So like, I get it. But you were saying generational curses, like I gotta, our families, all our families have generational curses, and then the few of us, one at a time, we start approaching those things, and it's like a switch. One of us say, okay, it stops here, and we deal with it in our head, but the children after us don't even have that in their head.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
I see that in my grandsons and how they respond to things, and it just makes me think about it on a deeper level, because the goal is to break generational curses and create a healthy environment for them to thrive and really identify or explore who they are.
I understand what you're saying. Like, if you live to a higher standard, and you feel like this individual, is not understanding that you have this standard. I understand that frustration. Sometimes I wonder, are you putting that standard on the other person, or are you putting it on yourself?
I think we unjustly put standards on each other, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think, and I feel like that's a part of the trauma.
Exactly, I agree with you on that.
That's part of the trauma. We don't know any better, and that's what I'm finding. Like, because a lot of stuff I inflicted upon myself. I had this. I was watching this TikTok earlier. So me, I first of all, I don't do TikTok. The only reason I got the app on my phone is because my phone keeps sending me TikTok, so I can't ever open it ish. So I'm like, get the TikTok so I can, see what people talking about. Get the TikTok, and so now I'm learning how to finesse it, and all of this was just today. And so I I go to, I just Google search relationships from husbands or wives, and then some stuff come up, and this lady was talking about how the identity of a woman is centered around the perception of others and how well she cares for others. There's no focus on how she cares for herself. So the identity, the value of a woman is determined by how well she's able to care for others and care for her family. And it made me think about that, because that's what my grandmother's 94. And that's what they took pride in, being able to say that they got educated children, God-fearing children who didn't have kids out of wedlock and do what they supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? When you don't fit that narrative, then you got to deal with being ostracized within your own family or your own household most times. And I just thought about how that affected a lot of the decisions that I made as a young mom with regard to how I was supporting my family. And it also led me to reflect on, my marriage. But you know what? I feel like a lot of people, especially men, say partnership, and they don't really want a partnership. They want submission by the traditional sense of the word, but don't understand submission comes under the protection of the headship. So they want the submission, but they ain't willing to provide the full protection, and then get intimidated when a woman reminds him, hey, you're not fully providing for me, or you're not fully caring for me. So if I ask you, to explain something to me, or to, extend grace to me, or, have a little bit more consideration for my thoughts in this regard, it ain't me usurping your authority. It's me recognizing mine within this relationship. And most times they can't handle that.
So as you had just said, generational curses, you done pointed out a mental issue that the male had, an issue of slavery. He was a slave, and he desired to be a master. So when he came home, he
made the woman his slave.
The wife was his slave. You know what I'm saying? Like, authority and submission should rotate just like the DNA strand. Sometimes you got the authority because you the most knowledgeable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you the most, I'd be dumb as hell.
Not to follow your lead when you over here knowing what you're talking about. But it seems to me in some relationships or in some instances, it's only okay for you to do that when it benefits them. When the masculine, the divine masculine, can see clearly what she's going to bring to the table. If there's, if he has any type of hesitation regarding what her vision is or where, she is instructed to go, he ain't going to follow, and he going to give her a hard time about going that way.
I mean, that's just what a lot of people are dealing with, is an insecure individual. And that goes masculine and feminine, And I watch out for that, because an insecure person will see a person who shines and try to control that shine. Everywhere I've been, it seems like that's my issue. Somebody try to control my shine, like put you in a little box, like
Yeah.
You see a pretty bird flying around.
Yeah, let me get this bird.
And put it in a cage so it can always
I
see
just want to look at the bird. I'm going to feed you, but you can't go nowhere. I'm going to pet you, but you can't go nowhere.
Right, the bird
I might let
bird.
you out in the room, but you can't go nowhere. Like, let me clip your wings so you can sit a little bit longer.
Put this collar around your neck if you ever try to fly away.
It's gonna beep and let me know where you at. It got a locator on it.
I agree that by population numbers, that would obviously be the point. Like, because if y'all the masses of the population, obviously you got to deal with y'all energy, heavily. I get that, At the same time, I don't want to be in a situation where the man feels belittled either. So that's a reason why the man is standing there with his sword and he's standing there strong. You got to let the man be strong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let him be strong. But you don't have to. But a man.
You don't have to. It's my thing is exactly. That's all I'm saying. Like, I have no problem with supporting, the divine God. I believe that wholeheartedly, but I don't think it should come at the sacrifice of divine feminine. It just shouldn't. Those things are, in terms of titles, I feel like those are deflections.
So what is the issue?
Lack of accountability.
I agree with you on that. Be accountable for your man.
Yeah, real talk. Ultimately, I think that we are on, conversations like this are putting us on the right page. And I do think that it's going to require us to, raise the upcoming generations in a way that teaches a higher respect for, just each other, for the divine man and the divine woman.
Right.
That needs to be, conveyed in a reteaching of how we should handle each other, because they took that from us. They took that to give us social services. Well, I'll get up off the line and let's stay building. And I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your quality, your intellectual content. And I feel like conversations like this are necessary so that we can have larger roundtables, allow to affect our communities in a way that promotes, progressive change. So